Right, I am going to say something at the start, Pab, but you are forbidden from including it in the podcast because otherwise that just becomes a thing, and I don't want it to become a thing because we've been going too long to develop new things. Hello and welcome to MGP534. I'm Kev, and with me this week there is Sheepdog and Pab. Say hello, boys and no girls, I guess. Maybe girls. I still, after all this time, I still don't know if I'm talking to you or talking to the audience. It's never been established. Just say some words and I'll stop saying words.
I mean, in recent weeks, I've just been going with you're telling me literally what to say, and that will do. So just assume that that's what you're doing. You're telling us to say hello, boys and girls, and
yeah, but am what I need is a time machine. Perhaps still not said hello. I need a time machine to go back and work out what my original intentions were, because I'd hate to do a disservice to my past self. That's my big concern here.
I don't think if you met your past self, you would even remember to ask. You'd be too busy trying to make out of him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely I would. Trying to make a baby. I'd find a way to science that up. Get that guy pregnant.
You've got time travel. You could probably just take yourself forward to a point where you can be, implanting them with a womb. And I mean, which way around would you want to do it? Would you want to give the past you a womb, which would mean you have a womb? Or...
No, if I'm going back in the past and meeting a past me, I want past me to have a womb so I can get him pregnant. So in the present day, his son is basically a clone of me that I can then send to do my menial tasks that I don't want to do. It's really just about me effectively getting a clone. The whole womb thing is largely unnecessary. If I've mastered time travel and putting a womb in a man, then I could probably just clone myself and save myself a lot of trouble.
Wholly unnecessary. There are also women that you could just impregnate if you want another.
I did that already,
vessel.
and they're nothing like me. They're also women for a start. I can only assume if you impregnate a woman, you get a woman. So my logic is, I need to impregnate a man if I want a son.
No, you just got to have good. I can't think of the right word. I can't think of a word I'm comfortable saying on the podcast.
You just have to be willing to give up your hair to give your son hair. That's what it is, clearly.
Well, I mean, it is a problem, though. I do feel like the pitfall of that is if you have boys, you seem to impart your testosterone to them and then you run out and all your hair goes and all of that. Yeah, so there's that side of it as well. I need all the testosterone I can get this week because my barber has trimmed my beard I look like Jimmy Hill at the moment. My cheeks are bald. And I really need to testosterone myself some hair back through so that I can thicken my beard back out. Good job you had daughters then, so they didn't take any of your testosterone when they left.
Exactly. But now I don't have anyone to do my menial tasks. This is the problem that I've got. This is why I need that time machine.
You could also hire like a task rabbit or an assistant of some kind.
Yeah, but they all want paying, don't they?
I reckon a clone you wouldn't do anything without money involved, to be fair.
Well, I'd let him play with my fugglers and my wrestling figures and stuff. So
you'd be the worst person to have as an assistant because they would want to take over.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't do as they were told. I need an assistant, but I need to fiddle with his brain a little bit to make him compliant.
Just clone Chris.
I don't need more than one of him. Goodness.
Well, you have editor Chris. You can have like masseuse Chris. You can have errand boy Chris. You could have like gardener Chris. I mean, just like a whole range.
My original plan when I employed him was that he would do all of those tasks. He seems to want to stick to his job description.
This is why you need to clone him. Just clone them all and then assign them tasks.
And clone one and try and find one without an attitude, or just do as he's told. That's what I'm looking for.
Boy does have an attitude, doesn't he?
Exactly.
It's always getting as bad as Pab.
Is Pab even here? Has he said
hello?
Hello,
he hasn't said hello. Not once.
We're 4 minutes in. You've not even said hello.
I mean, this is what happens. You two just go off on one, and it just.
We were just saying hello to everybody.
You started off with a conversation.
That was merely a greeting, Pappy. Merely a greeting.
It's about right for you two, yeah.
Goodness me. Anna's not here this week because she's got a cough, and she had two choices: either lean forward occasionally and press the mute button on our microphone, or not do the podcast. And she chose the second one because it's less effort. So Anna's not going to be here. She's going to sit in the living room, coughing to herself, wrapping Christmas presents, and having a jolly nice time.
You know what's funny?
Sounds pretty good. Go on. What's funny, Pab?
A few weeks ago, Sheepdog said, we usually miss a few in December, so we're probably the last one till Game of the Year, and we've done every single one in December. It will be.
That's because I've been breaking
great.
my butthole to play as many games as possible. I've played even more games again this week. I am determined to well,
broke your
there's two
butthole?
things. Yeah, I have broken my butthole. I've determined.
Not again.
Well,
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that.
I have got cream. But I am determined to do two things. One, put together my best Game of the Year shortlist I've ever done in next week's Game of the Year episode.
Good.
And two,
Finally.
stop Sheepdog from railroading the winner, which is my main motivation behind trying so many different games. He's never been so sure so early what should win, and that's all I needed to give me the motivation to play every other game that's been released this year,
You only
just
get
to
5
find
votes.
viable alternatives. Yeah, but I have to make sure I'm speaking from a position of authority. I've played like 15 games that came out this year at this point. I am the this year expert. And I'm going to use that expert status to, if I can't win on the podcast because you lot are all going to gang up on me, at least I can lead a popular revolt and finally give the people what they want, which is their vote on Twitter to be the one that really counts. And that's where we're heading.
But when they all vote for Spider-Man as well, it's
Yeah, but
going to
they
be
won't,
hilarious.
because they're not idiots, so they won't do that, will they?
I think that
I don't
you
think we have very
underestimate
many
them.
meathead. I think I massively overestimate them. I don't think we've got meathead listeners. I think our listeners are cultured
Kev,
and not meathead.
I don't understand why you.
No, I
You
don't.
picked it. Not because I find it. It's a silly argument, but it's such a weak one. He was saying to us on Twitter the other day in our DMs that the meatheads are the people that want the Spider-Man option, and the sort of people who would spend all their time playing Football Manager and FIFA and all stuff like that. And I'm like, that's literally you, Kev. You're that person they're describing in the
Kind of
video.
people who play Madden and Call of Duty with what the guy mentioned, and I don't play either of them.
He mentioned FIFA, and I'm sure he mentioned FM. But anyway,
Nah, he didn't.
you are absolutely that kind of person, and
No,
Spider-Man's
I'm
not
I'm
that
the
kind of
thinking
game at
man's
all.
gamer. I'm
Spider-Man
not
has
all
too
about...
much plot to have been anywhere
Spider-Man
near
is
like those
an
games.
interactive movie with QuickTime events.
Also, wait,
all it
what?
is.
Wait. You love an interactive thing with QuickTime events.
Not anymore,
Yeah,
Pab. I'm a
if that
changed
was the
man.
case.
I
And
have
you're
spent
Mr.
so
Marvel.
much. I have spent so much time this week playing Baldur's Gate 3 that I am
I'm
a
so
changed
glad.
man.
Please tell me that's
And-
true. You didn't make that up.
No, genuinely, I am loving it. I
Excellent.
love a
I
branching
thought you
storyline.
might. I genuinely thought you might, and I was going to
I
tell
am
you in a
enjoying
year.
this so much that I started it, got to, and I started it, played it the way I normally play RPGs, so I just mainlined the main quests. I imagine most of our listeners have played it, so I got as far as the Goblin Camp and just
Yep.
kept getting my buttocks handed to me, just kept dying completely, and I was like, I don't know why I'm dying. But I'm enjoying it, but I can't get past this bit. I'm just dying constantly. I'm going to restart the game, and this time I'm going to explore a little bit, try and level up a bit before I get to this point. Second time I get to the Goblin Camp, there's a couple of things that are different. Difference number one is instead of the 2 companions I went there with the first time, I've found like 6. I've got so many people traveling with me now. We're like a gang. And 2, nothing that happened the first time has happened the second time. Everything is different. Even when I've gone to the same places and spoken to the same people and expected similar outcomes, the outcomes are completely different. It's all voice acted. Pokemon, you could learn from this. It's all voice acted and so many different branching storylines that it feels like you're being led down a story similar to what something like Spider-Man would do. It feels like it's a pre-planned story, but apparently it just changes every time and branches off in a gazillion different directions. And it's blowing me away with how good it is. I've probably spent 15 hours on it this week. I've still not made it back to the Goblin Camp the second time around because I've found so many other things that are going on that I'm now getting stuck into. I'm doing little side quests, character quests. I think at this point I even understand how Dungeons and Dragons works, which kind of brings me back full circle to Sheepdog trying to make us play Dungeons and Dragons not so long ago. I think I probably could now because I think I actually understand it because I've been playing it as part of this game. But it's insanely good. And you know I love a turn-based RPG, Persona, Pokemon. These are my kind of games. Hugely story-led, branching storylines. Oh my word. This is I know I'm barely scratching the surface, but it is a sensational game. And I completely understand why it won Game of the Year on the Game Awards and why it should win our Game of the Year. I'm campaigning now because it is incredible. And if you haven't played it, dear listener, I urge you to go and play it before next week because you are going to get the opportunity to vote. There is no chance we will be releasing a show if this isn't in the final four for you to vote on. And make sure you're ready to vote for it because it's fantastic.
You're being a bit dense making it next week's episode. I already told you that if you put it to the week after, I will have played a load of the games that could be in it. I can't play them now. I played a couple of. I did play the ones for the kids, but
so which one does this apply to then? Which one are you not going to be able to play if we do it next week?
Well, if I was able to get it for Christmas, I would get Baldur's Gate and play it for the show. But I'm not buying it the week before Christmas for myself when I'm telling Mrs. Sheepdog, I don't know what I want for Christmas. I don't know what I want to get. There is something I want to get, but I don't want to get it a week early because I don't have nothing on the day. So,
I mean,
I get it.
It's a piece of digital content. She's not going to be able to wrap it up and hand it to you anyway.
It's a good point.
Yeah, I don't really care. I want to be able to just sit and play it and be like, that was a Christmas present. It's the principle.
He wants to be able to ignore his family on Christmas Day and play this 300-hour video game.
Yeah, you ain't doing it in a week anyway, Sheepdog. You need 6 weeks.
Well, no, I could try and get it for Christmas early, but I don't think I'll get away with it. It's more what I'm getting at.
Well, if you're not going to get it, just buy it then. It's great. Just go buy it. It's 30
yeah, but it's so expensive as well. It's probably worth it for 300 quid. 300 hours, sorry.
Get it on Steam. It's like 30 quid.
Is it?
I don't think I paid much more than 30 for it.
Don't say that. I literally
when I looked last week, it was 45. So I'm suddenly scrambling, going, is it? I'm
maybe it was reduced, or maybe I don't understand how much things cost. Yeah, maybe I didn't really look, and it says $49.99, which to me that feels like it's about 30 quid. It's roughly it's cheaper than a PS5 game, is what I'm getting at.
I have a question.
Yes,
have you tried it on a Steam Deck?
That's all I've played it on.
Really?
I've only played it on the Steam Deck. Yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I've seen Anna play it on the PS5, so it doesn't look as pretty, obviously, because it's on the Steam Deck rather than on the PS5. But it plays absolutely fine. I've done all of it. Basically, I've got myself into a routine where I finish my stream about 10 p.m. and then go and lie in bed with my Steam Deck and play this until I fall asleep. And I've been doing 2 or 3 hours a night, just lying there playing this on my Steam Deck. Anna is furious. That's how I'm spending every night at the moment. But it's brilliant. And it runs beautifully on the Steam Deck. It's the kind of game that, to me, suits the Steam Deck perfectly because it's a slower paced, turn-based thing. It's the sort of game where if you need to just put the Steam Deck down for a second to do something, you can, because nothing's going to happen while you're not playing. You don't have to worry about pausing it because it's all turn-based. And to me, it's exactly, it fits perfectly on a handheld, the way Pokemon does, the way Persona does. This kind of game, this is how I want to play it. And yeah, it works beautifully on the Steam Deck. No complaints at all. And not had any issues with it crashing or lagging or anything like that. It runs great. Really happy with it.
It's positive. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Very good, Pabby. I'm a little bit upset you didn't tell me to play it earlier in the year.
It's not me. You've got to. I mean, Anna's. Yeah.
Yeah, Anna wasn't that into it.
So here's the thing. It's not us you've got to convince now. It's Anna you've got to convince to put it on a list.
I've made a terrible mistake with her.
Unless you want to go back on your thing of not letting me vote for games I haven't played.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. You can vote for this if you're not playing it. That's fine. You've got a week to play it, Pabby. Get it played.
I'm not buying it. I know the quality. Like I say, this was the game. This was the game. I just don't think it's for me. That's the thing. I'm willing to give it a go at a reduced price. Like I say, at 30 quid, I might have done it.
That's where I was. I didn't want to go and spend loads on it and not like it.
I kicked a squirrel into a tree.
Yeah?
He exploded.
Oh, did you actually do that one, did you?
Oh, I did that one.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm now trying to romance a woman who's on fire the whole time, which is tricky. Let me tell you, that's tricky. But no, the mistake I've made with Anna is I was too excited about Hogwarts Legacy last week, so she's gone back and spent the whole week playing that and is now absolutely loving that. So I still think Hogwarts Legacy is great, and it would probably still be in my shortlist, but I went a little bit too hard too soon with that, and now Anna is fully into that again. So I have got a real fight on my hands to get her back round onto Baldur's Gate with only a week to go and get her to give it a proper try. But weirdly, because she liked Divinity Original Sin, I thought she'd be all over this, but I don't know. She just she hasn't been, which is troublesome. But it's the world will make a mockery of us if we don't at least shortlist.
You can sod off. You can get lost, right? The amount of times that I say that and you go, I don't care. This is our list.
Yeah, but Pabby, what you got to remember is I just say whatever I think needs to be said to get my own way.
That is true.
I have no respect for precedent, for previous rules that have been established. I will just say what I want to try and get what I want, and believe me, that is what you need to expect to happen next week, unless I try something even better, because that's the thing. Tell you what I have learned over the last 2 or 3 weeks of trying to go through this. This has actually been a really good year for video games. This has been a really solid year, and I did question myself and think, is this just because I'm trying for the first time in years? And I went back and looked through the games that came out over the last few years, and no, this has been a really good year after some pretty ropey looking years. This feels like video games have hit their stride again. This is a really strong year, and it's the first time in probably 5 or 6 years that I'm actually gonna have to narrow down to a 5 rather than go through the release list on Wikipedia and try and find my 4th and 5th games like I usually have to. So I'm 2023. You did good. Well done, little fella. Well done. I did try another game this week. One of the ones I promised I would try last week. I gave Starfield a go.
Okay.
And this is just a first-person shooter, isn't it?
You did it the wrong way around.
What do you mean I did it the wrong way around?
Raised the bar and then...
You raised the bar by playing Cyberpunk first.
Because Cyberpunk was incredible. I like the fact that lots of people on Twitter have been agreeing with me that Cyberpunk should be allowed on the list, because it was basically completely remade.
Doesn't matter.
We'll get back. We'll address that next week.
Doesn't matter. They had the chance. They blew it.
But yeah, Starfield is it feels like a Mass Effect mod made by someone who was really into Fallout. So they've taken Fallout gameplay, apart from the good bit, they've left VATS behind. Let's not include the good bit. Let's take the bits of Fallout that are a bit rubbish, like the way they do the conversations where everyone just stands completely straight on looking at you, and it's just a little bit original Xbox and hasn't moved on from there. They've dropped VATS, added even more shooting, and I don't know. I guess there's probably a story to this. There's a lot of picking stuff up, so I'm guessing loot is a thing. I'm guessing there might be a story, but honestly, I'm not going to find out if the story's any good, because I've played the first 2 hours and all I've done in that time is run around shooting things and fly a spaceship. And if there's 2 things I hate in video games these days as an old man, it's running around shooting things and having to maneuver large vehicles. So this one is not for me.
So, yes, that is a part of the game. And there are... I don't know what to say about this, because it won't be on my list. But then I played nearly 40 hours of it. And
yeah, but you like shooters.
I do like shooters, but probably would. But what I'll say is, there is a large part of that game where I did 0 shooting, and I've physically I noticed it. No, but because I put all my points into talking, into being I could talk my way out of things all the time, and that's where all my points. And there was a point in the game where I thought, when I got into a fight, I was like, I don't remember the buttons, because I've hardly done any shooting in probably close to 8 hours. But
similar to my criticism of Spider-Man and why that's not for me, I am not willing to go through however many hours of having to do all of the action stuff to get to the good game. I want the good game up front.
Yeah, but
and for me,
your criticism of Spider-Man is dumb, and you need to just leave it.
For me, these days, a good game means don't want any action stuff, don't want any boss battle-y type stuff, don't really want any fighting of any kind. I just want to meander through a story, making decisions.
But
and that's it. That's what I want. That's my game. That's what I'll have, please.
But if you had your way, you would have Cyberpunk in here, in the game of the year, which is shooty.
Yeah,
very
but
shooty.
It's not really.
It's not really.
I didn't do a lot of shooting in Cyberpunk.
Oh well, that's the thing. You didn't play enough of it then.
Lost his mind.
I played it all the way through. I finished it.
You finished Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh well, there you go. That's good.
And the DLC, loved it.
And the DLC, wow. So
yeah,
that's the thing.
Cyberpunk, without question,
you did it the wrong way around. You absolutely did it the wrong way around, because Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty that came out after Starfield, and it came out while I was playing Starfield. And as soon as I played it, I went, oh God, I don't want to go back now. And it kind of.
Maybe the thing I was a little bit more willing to do more of the action and shooty stuff with Cyberpunk is that it was a setting that I don't feel like I've played in 1,000 times before. I've been in New York. I've been a superhero. I've been in space. You know, I've done all that before. But Cyberpunk was different and unique and kept me interested long enough to get past the shooty bits. And by then, the story had hooked me in. So it did it the right way. And I don't know. I think I'm too old for really action-based games these days. They're not my thing. When you see my 5, there's not much actiony stuff on there.
That's fair.
Not very shooty, not very actiony. I want to be able to play games one-handed. That's my new thing. That's my new criteria. Can I play this game one-handed? If I can, then it gets the time of day from me. If I can't play it one-handed, then it needs to absolutely blow me away. And Starfield definitely didn't.
See, it's funny actually that you kind of. I followed a very similar pattern to you, but I didn't reach the same point of buying Baldur's Gate, because I went on Game Pass and was like, right, Starfield, let's go, and then looked at some videos for it and thought, I don't think I'm going to enjoy this. I'm not going to bother massively downloading this 90 gig file or whatever it was. I even cleared space for it on my computer, even though I didn't really need to. I just started removing stuff, thinking I'm going to make sure I can play it and it'll be all good. And then I looked at it and I thought, no, it doesn't look great at all. I went on Steam to see how much Baldur's Gate was and thought, no, I'm not buying that. And then I ended up buying a completely left field game that I didn't even know existed. I saw Star Trek Infinity. Is it Infinity or Infinite? One of them. Anyway, is that the
Telltale game?
Sorry?
Is that the Telltale like?
No, it's. Do you know what? I meant to Google this. Someone was talking about this space game, Star Trek Infinite. Right, let's have a look. They were saying it's very similar to. It's by Paradox Interactive, and there was a Stellaris. It's basically Star Trek Stellaris, and I've been playing that, which I didn't expect to. It came out this year, so it counts as a 2023 game. But I was just like, it came out in October, and I was like, oh, okay. Why didn't I see this at the time? You're just basically, because I'm playing it. I don't know if I got confused a little bit because it asked me if I wanted to play the tutorial or play the game, and I went tutorial. So I did a tutorial, and now it's throwing me into like an entire run of the sort of Star Trek world from sort of early days. You know, I think basically if I follow the plots and the missions, I'll end up hiring the crew of the Enterprise. Like building the Enterprise is the next task I need to do. And then I was looking down the mission tasks, and it goes like all the way up to sort of the end of Voyager and stuff like that. And yeah, I've just been sending sort of science vessels out to explore new worlds. I've been building my little army. I've been trying to befriend the Klingons because I just thought, you know what, you're quite tough and mean and brutal. I'll try and ask you to be my mates, and I just keep saying no.
That's why you befriended me back in the day, wasn't it? Because I was tough and mean and brutal.
Yeah. The Romulans are threatening us. They keep being mean, so I'm just sending loads of spies their way. And yeah, I'm just playing that. It's been fun and interesting. It's quite chilled. There's not like a whole lot of actiony stuff. It's more decisions like they'll tell me they've found some new species and what do I want to do, or there's people that are having some. Like, there were some people from another dimension that had a problem with a hole in space time, and I could either boost it and help them get through, or I could take them prisoner and experiment on them, or I could just ignore it and be neutral. And you just have to make decisions like that. Obviously, I was kind and helped them. But yeah, it's I'm as somebody who's geeky and into Star Trekky stuff and that kind of thing, I was surprised that it passed me by without hearing about it. I would have thought that it would have been something that at least friends might have said, "Oh, have you seen this? Is it any good or whatever?" But as far as I can see, no one's mentioned it to me in WhatsApp or anything like that. It's been fun. It's a lot of reading. Obviously, I'm not expecting to pitch it at someone like Kev who doesn't play anything with star in the name or like anything with star in the name.
And I also can't read.
Yeah. But it's as I say, time sink. I feel like it's just a strategy game. It's Star Trek. I understand most of the sort of lore related stuff. I'm not great at all of that. I think some of my friends are probably, if you're really into it and you know your stuff really well, you'd probably pick up better than I am. It's heavy on all the Picard stuff being in it. Patrick Stewart's face is all over the cover and that. So that's the era and the characters that they're aiming for more. But as I say, I saw Voyager in some of the late missions, so I was like, oh, okay, I like them more, the newer ones. Obviously, it doesn't go to super new stuff. But that, I don't know how I feel. You're kind of talking about how it's been a great year and you think it's been wonderful and all of this. I mean, it's not been a bad year. I've worked out that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 games I've played in anger, like properly, that came out this year.
Which is twice as many as you would have done in any of the last 3 or 4 years.
They're not games that I would. Well, I'm saying 8 that I wouldn't feel embarrassed about trying to vote for. There's been games that I've either played with the boys for a bit, and I don't really have an opinion on them. There's stuff I've obviously played, either like I had a go on it or whatever it is. I've played other stuff, but I don't feel like. So, like Anna was saying last week, I wouldn't vote for Game of the Year though. That was kind of how I felt about bits and pieces like that. But even then, I'm sort of looking at it like, I don't know. I don't really want to be saying a Sonic game or a Mario game is my one, or I don't really want to be pushing Football Manager, or I don't know. There's just certain bits. I kind of feel weird wanting to put City Skylines in it, but I played that a lot, and I really like the fact that they've updated that, and there's a new one out, and it's fixed some of the silly sort of stuff that the last round of games that they brought out, where it's like SimCity, City Skylines, all that, seem to be obsessed with forcing you to have one small sandbox. So this one doesn't. It realizes you want to just keep going bigger and bigger and bigger. This is all probably next week kind of debating, but I do feel a bit like I've gone through all that, and I thought none of these are like that. I don't know, that special, like what I imagine Baldur's Gate probably does actually have in it. That kind of extra level of, okay, wow, this is very cool. They don't really have that except for Spider-Man, because the story in it is so brilliant. It's an excellent, excellent story, and I don't really get why you're being a muppet about it, but the story in it is fantastic.
Because it started with a massive boss battle, and I'm not having it. I hate boss battles. That's ruined it.
I
was bored before the intro finished. Huh?
You didn't play past that then?
I swung around for a little bit, stopped a few crimes, and was like, oh yeah, this is exactly the same as the first one. It's just a not quite as good Batman Arkham game with a not quite as good superhero as the star of it.
See, I don't know. It's definitely, it's like a Batman Arkham game that's much bigger and much more polished and much more fun. Like, I enjoyed those games a lot, but this game had a lot of extra to it.
The sun's up. I don't like it. I want it to be dark. I want to be wandering around asylums.
It has a night and day cycle.
Well, the sun was out when I was playing.
What do you mean, no, it doesn't?
It doesn't have a night and day cycle.
You tell him, Pab.
It definitely does.
No.
I was playing it at night for loads of that game.
Yes. Missions are set at night. Doesn't it? You can't just swing around and it gets dark.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Because I feel like I was.
No, I
had a lot of times I was swinging around and he was like, I really need
to
to go to bed, I'm knackered, and he kept just talking about how tired he was, and I just kept going.
That doesn't mean that's because he's Spider-Man and he's exhausted, not because it's getting to 8:30
no, but
and he's got to go to bed.
I'd been out all night, that's what I'm saying. It was dark, it started to get light, and he was like, I really need to go to bed, and I carried on, and it was daytime then, and I was like, yeah, you meant to bed yet?
I don't think there is a...
I'm not sure now. Yeah, I'm thinking, was I playing on a night mission? And then
because we can't clarify this, we probably need to disqualify it from the voting anyway. Just to be fair.
But no, back on games. Yeah, no. So I am like, I did say to you, Baldur's Gate should win it anyway. That was my original gambit. Was Baldur's Gate? None of us have played. Spider-Man is the best game we've all played. It's a hard one. The rest of the year, though, the rest of the games are just. They're definitely games worth buying. I mean, we had a Minecraft game come out this year that I played, Minecraft Legends. I played that with Ollie, and I was actually looking at that like, did that come out this year? And everywhere says it did, but I feel like I got that ages ago.
Yep.
But that's surprising that there's been a whole, big company, big IP like that brought something out. You're right that next week's going to have a lot more games into the normal, but I don't know that they were necessarily Sheepdog games, if that makes sense. Like, obviously, last year I had a lot more things like Pokémon brought a game out and things like that. I feel like I had more me games last year. Whereas I don't know what's coming out other than Silk Song, which I'm just waiting for.
That's funny. That's
not really.
I find that amusing because Mr. Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Do you know? Again, I'm getting that for Christmas, aren't I? Otherwise, it would have been on the list if Kev had left it.
You host a gaming podcast. Stop getting games for Christmas and play them when they come out.
When it came out. I got the PS5, and then I played all the games that I hadn't finished from my PS4, and then got Spider-Man. That's basically been my run with that. I had a lot of catching up to do, but moving forward, I think it'd be a bit easier. But like when it came to it, Anna had told me that I wasn't going to like Final Fantasy 16, and then Amazon happened to have it at I think it's 35.
Yeah, there are people who, when I put my 5 on Twitter, were like, Kev, I know you don't like Final Fantasy, but this one is
you won't like Final Fantasy.
The least Final Fantasy whatever. You should try it. I haven't. I'm still not going. But
do you like Devil May Cry?
Yes, very much.
You do?
Yeah, the remake of Devil May Cry from a few years ago is one of my favourite games ever. Loved that.
I quite like Devil May Cry as well. To be fair. Really like that when I was younger.
Combat is like Devil May Cry.
That's a bit weird though that they've done that in a Final Fantasy game. I don't understand.
The story is all Final Fantasy. The story is all Final Fantasy. Well, and it gets more and more. I kept going. I don't get what this story is going bonkers, and then the more podcasts I listen to about this game, and they're going, and it just gets more and more Final Fantasy. And because I have no terms of reference to Final Fantasy, now I kind of do because of this game and how insane it gets at times. And is it people going, it's just the way Final Fantasy is. It goes there.
I think the most important thing Pabs just said there is he's implied he listens to other gaming podcasts.
Oh,
I'm not sure how I feel about it at all. I don't know that was part of your original contract, young man.
I listen to all sorts of podcasts.
Exclusive just to us.
I mean, I'm not on any other podcasts.
Only to our back catalogue.
I listen to our podcasts. Even when I edit them, I listen to them back.
That's a bit.
Mainly because I'm not listening half the time.
I don't like the idea of you being influenced by strangers, Pabby. We might have to limit what you're allowed to listen to. Get you an Audible subscription. You can listen to some lovely novels.
Yeah, make him listen to the new Buffy things they brought out. I've not listened to them yet. I don't know if they're any good, but that's all you're allowed to listen to, Pab. No, so I mean, I'm looking at some of these and I'm thinking, was I as excited about them? I mean, Spider-Man I was excited about. That's fine. When I saw there was a Star Trek game, I was like, oh, cool, and I bought it immediately. So that's the thing as well. I didn't even think about whether or not to buy that the week before Christmas. I just bought it, which I'm kind of surprised that even I don't think I've ever been like that really much. But I just was like, oh, Star Trek game, boom, bought it. I haven't done that with Baldur's Gate because I'm not sure about it, and if Silk Song obviously was released right now, I would buy it right now. And if the Final Fantasy Rebirth came out, I'd get Final Fantasy Rebirth immediately. But there's not been many on here where I've been like, must have now, must buy now, don't really care about anything else other than Spider-Man. City Skylines, again, I got it on Game Pass, so I feel like I didn't really pay for it. So I'm like, I don't know, it just feels different. I feel like Game Pass takes a little bit of magic out of that. It's like, oh, I've not just bought a new game, I've just downloaded it. But anyway, yeah, my list just feels a little bit hollow like that because I'm looking down there thinking...
Flipper 2, which came out this week, that me and Pab played at EGX over a year ago. I find it hard to believe that's only just been released.
Yeah, I got confused. Saw that on the new release game list and was like, no.
Yeah,
that was over a year ago. We got our tape measures.
Yeah. I'm here now, squeezing the stress ball with House Flipper 2 on it.
Yeah.
It does get confusing as well that obviously a lot of the games come out as like open betas and things like that, and then you just assume it's been out forever, and then suddenly it's telling you that it's only just released. I was looking through games thinking, well, I don't know when that came out now because I know I've had it on my computer for ages, but you're telling me it's quite a new game, so that was getting annoying. I just wanted to be right. Like I didn't feel like I was scratching around, if that makes sense. Like you, I normally am. Normally I'm reading through a year's worth of reviews, list of games, thinking which ones of these have I actually been on. But yeah, no, other than that, do you know what I suddenly realised? The elephant in the room before we run out of time. The new Pokemon DLC came out this week, Kevin. I've been playing that as well. That's been surprisingly
We're not allowed
massive.
DLC though. Pab won't allow it.
No, I can't vote for it, and I get that. Poor old Pab's ruined us with that. But what I was trying to say was
that's a rightful rule.
In these days of games as service, we should be allowed to include our DLCs. You're a monster.
Maybe next year we'll tweak the rules depending on what suits.
Maybe we should have a different category.
What 2 categories?
We could maybe have 3 categories. We could have game that didn't come out this year. Then you could have Cyberpunk in that every year.
Pab, we should do that for next week. We should have game of the year, best game we've played this year, and best game update of the year.
I mean, to be fair, but if it's not up to me, I'm down for that. It's Kev you've got to convince with that one, not me.
I mean, I've been very much focused on games that released this year. I would,
aside from Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but I would have that one game to nominate. I can't think of anything else that came out.
You don't have to nominate one game. So let's say it's just a nomination. You don't have to nominate 5 for this.
Well, I tell you what we could do. Rather than it being a category, we could just have a conversation about it.
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, reviewing the hot new DLC launch that came out on like one of the biggest gaming IPs in the world. Yeah, Indigo Disc came out, and so last time I did a Pokemon update with Jen, the Sword and Shield ones. So my Alexa just decided to go off in the background there. You probably didn't hear it, but it was loud to me. Anyway, yeah, when they brought out the Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor for Gen 8, that felt massive. I was like, wow, this is impressive. And then they brought out the DLC for the Teal Mask for Scarlet and Violet. And I was like, okay, this is actually bigger than them put together. And this makes me worry about the next one. Is the next one going to be as big? And so Indigo Disc came out yesterday, day before, sometime this week. And oh my God, like you visit this school called the Blueberry Academy, and they have this underwater biome thing that they've built where it's like, it's a desert, like a tropical paradise, a rocky terrain, and a big tundra. But that is bigger than the entire wild area of Gen 8 by the looks of it on the map. Like, it is enormous. And it's got like 200 Pokemon in it. So they've added 200 more into the game than there were already. And there already was something like 600 or 700, I want to say. And I know for you, Kev, listening, if you were starting that right now, that'd be too much for you. You wouldn't like there being most Pokemon in the game. But yeah, for them to throw that much into it, I was like, wow, it's kind of shocked me a bit. I was looking at it like, geez, this is going to take a nice amount of time to play through. They've added, I can't remember the exact amount now. I want to say like 8-ish new Pokemon into the DLC in terms of like the story. But also, I like that the plot to Scarlet and Violet has some unanswered questions in the game. Not massive ones. Like, the plot of the game was there. You played the game, you finished, the story was good. There's other stuff you can learn about the world that I really want to learn by doing this DLC. I want to learn what's going on. And that's quite cool, because I feel like the story in the previous DLCs has been a little bit... I mean, the last one was just a little bit like, it's between terms and you're going to this island to visit these people. And the last gen's ones were very much, you've just gone up north for a bit and there's stuff going on there, have a look round. Whereas this is like, they're ongoing with their research. Characters were kind of saying, I'm going to go look at this for a bit, I'll catch up with you later, like in the game. And then they're in the last DLC, and they were still doing a bit of research, and now they're kind of going, I'm ready to look through my research, let's go. And it all just feels like one big story that's paying off. And yeah, I'm very excited. It's just really cool, really good. Like you said, they could learn from putting the voice acting in it. I mean, A, that wouldn't fit on a Switch. People need to understand this. But B, I don't know how they crammed so much into this.
Of course it would fit on the Switch. There are plenty of games with voice acting on the Switch.
You're telling me that a Pokemon game that already fills the cartridge could add in branching conversations and voice acting and all of that on top? No, it couldn't. It wouldn't
Of course it
fit.
could.
Just download it.
It wouldn't fit.
Yeah,
they can't fit all the Pokemon in.
You just have it as a download.
Yeah.
What do you mean you can't fit the Pokemon in? They're little sprites.
They can't fit the... No, because they're not just little sprites, are they? They've got to have...
Just have it as downloads.
Yeah.
There's several games I've played where you just down... Of course, that's literally how it works.
I promise you, I've been through this with so many people in the past.
But they're wrong.
Yeah.
Because
I've had to go online
where
and
I've
get the
downloaded
information to show them how it will not fit on the Switch. The Switch does not have enough space.
But you could just download the voice acting.
The Switch does not have enough
space. What do you mean
space.
the Switch doesn't have enough space? Just put an SD
slot.
card in it.
The carts that come with it.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be on the cartridge. People can download it like they do on other games that have voice acting.
You're telling me that you expect everyone to get the game on the cartridge, which it wouldn't fit on, and then download all the extra stuff onto their Switch, which it also wouldn't fit on unless they bought a memory card just to play the game.
That's literally how it works on other games.
People wouldn't do that for a game.
Literally
That's insane.
do that.
That would be insane to clear out your entire Switch to play Pokemon.
Actually happens. That is how it works.
That is how a mental person would play a game on their Switch. So that is an absurd expectation.
You need to play Baldur's Gate because your mind is going to be blown at these people.
Yeah, but it wouldn't fit on a Switch, would it?
It doesn't matter.
You would put Baldur's Gate on a Switch. I understand what you're saying. This is the stupid argument people keep making. Oh, they should do this in Pokemon. And it's like, well, Pokemon's not trying to make Baldur's Gate. If they want to spend, 14 years? Or how long did they spend on it? It was a long time, wasn't it? Are you sure?
Yeah.
I swear I saw
it.
14 was just me throwing a number out, but 5 doesn't seem long enough. I'm sure I saw a number on it and thought that's a lot of time.
It could be a long time, but like I said, it's been in early access for 3 years. So I imagine...
Pokemon, I mean, I'd love to see them make a game like Baldur's Gate or whatever the big sort of games would be, the equivalent, and put it on a proper console, a proper PC. But they're making a game for the Switch. That's all they're doing, and it's already the biggest money-making game in the world. So they don't really need advice from people who don't make games. But yeah, I'm just like, people need to get over it. It would not fit. I went through all of the stats, all of the information.
They could just download it. It would be fine.
Already can't fit all the Pokemon in the game because it wouldn't fit on the Switch without you buying a memory card and being a weirdo about it.
That is bonkers.
That is nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
If the cartridge is too small, then you can just have it as a download.
No one told me it, Pab. I went and looked it up myself.
How big do you think the files for a Pokemon are? That's insane.
You need to go and look into it because I am correct.
Football Manager fits on the Switch with hundreds of thousands of players in it.
What?
Football Manager fits on the Switch with hundreds of thousands of players in it.
Because they're words, Kevin. They're little pieces of text.
Pokemon are just little sprites.
They're not little sprites, though, are they? You're mad.
People,
you need to go and learn about it. I can't. I just haven't got the energy for this. Go and look into it. Spend like 10 minutes researching it yourself, and you'll be like, actually, Sheepdog's right.
But it does, in the very unlikely event that they, and I very much have to insist on people realizing I am doing air quotes as I say this, if they can't fit all the Pokemon on, even if that's the case, voice acting is a separate issue, which could just be a download, because it happens on lots of other Switch games already. You can choose not to have it, but if you want to have it, you download the files. And it takes seconds.
Right. I get what you're saying, and it's fair enough to say that they could have the files if people wanted them. But firstly, it means they've then got to bother doing it. Secondly, it means they've got to do it in every language the game comes out in.
Yeah, that happens. You choose which language you want to download.
Which just seems like an irrelevant waste of time. And they've never needed to do it in the past 9 gens. It's not made any difference.
But games need to evolve. It's at risk of being left behind if they don't evolve it.
I don't see how.
And some would say it already has been left behind, let's be honest.
How has it been left behind when it's already bigger than everything else?
Look at the Metacritic scores for it.
I don't think they need to worry about Metacritic scores, do they?
Well, they don't, because every mug buys it regardless of whether it's good or bad.
No, they get AstroTurf no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are idiots. People are still saying... People were replying to the thing on when they brought out the game announcement the other day. They were going, "Oh, you should have just rebuilt the whole game from scratch. It doesn't even work. It's just a buggy mess." And I asked everyone I was playing it with on Twitch. I asked on Twitter. People were just like, "No, not a single bug through the whole." I had more bugs playing Spider-Man. Spider-Man glitched on me every single time I played it. it had a fatal glitch
Well,
to
that's
restart
got
the
voice
game
acting, so
every single playthrough, and nobody was like, "Oh, Spider-Man's broken. They're idiots for making this."
Well, people
Whereas
do
I've
say
had a
that.
single glitch in Scarlet and Violet, not even one, no bugs at all, and people are acting like that game is broken, like what's it called, Cyberpunk was, when that was an absolute train wreck. It's nothing like that.
I don't remember it being broken, but it is lazy.
It's not lazy. It's fine.
Of course it's lazy. They're not trying to bring it into 2023. Yeah, but it's still lazy. Just like Football Manager got lazy as well. Games rest on their laurels. And
no, I don't think it is lazy. I think their big thing was moving from the 3DS to the Switch, and they didn't get lazy. They did a massive change, and it was great.
Yes, but that move is to about where at the end of the 360's life cycle is where they're up to now, and we're now 2 generations past that everywhere else.
Yeah, because the Switch is a piece of crap,
you
isn't
just
it?
have to compare it. I mean,
it's not their
Persona
fault.
5 Royal is a game that runs on the Switch, incidentally, with voice acting.
And
yeah, but nowhere near the
with all the
size
personas
of the
in.
assets.
Nowhere near the size.
Graphically, worlds apart. I guarantee Persona 5 Royal is a much larger game file than Pokemon.
Bet it's not.
I don't see how it couldn't be.
Well, learn how it works, Kev. Go and have a look at it.
I can't wait to see people's Twitter responses to this episode.
Yeah,
it's
go on.
amazing.
My
point is that it's
right,
on the same. It's on the same system and is better graphically. It's got better audio. It's a very similar style of game, and it runs on the Switch. So it's not the fact that the Switch is limiting them. It's the fact that they are being lazy and not taking it forward. Which they could if they wanted to, but they don't feel the need to.
Because there was a lot of muggy people who kept saying, the Zelda games are doing so much on there. Why can't Pokemon do what Zelda games do? And it was like, Zelda games have like 20 assets they just recolor over and over again. Like, that's all those games are doing. Whereas Pokemon has 1,000 different Pokemon it has to make in all the different ways that they're there. And all the people, and all the items, and all the moves, and all the stuff to go with that. And it's like, people just don't know what they're talking about, and then they have these stupid opinions about it, and it's like, learn how they're made, and then you'll know you're being an idiot. So there you go. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm sorry for calling people stupid, but I know I'm not because I've already done the research. Right. So
Pokemon Scarlet download size on a Switch is 10 gigabytes. Persona 5 Royal download size is 12.5 gigabytes.
So have you factored in the DLC on that?
No, that's how much that's the size of the game in its raw form. Right, so there's an extra 2.5 gig Pokemon could be using right there, assuming Persona absolutely maxes out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they make the game, so they've made the game with the DLC in mind as well, won't they? So they'll know that when they're releasing
the DLC doesn't go on the game cartridge.
No, you download the DLC.
No, but they're saying the game they're making needs to fit into the amount of what is it? I can't remember the different measurements of the cartridges. They go to, is it like 16 and the next one up's 32? But the Switch only has a 30 gig hard drive on it, and then you have to expand it to go beyond that. And no one's going to make a game bigger than the capacity of a Switch because then people wouldn't buy it because people aren't all mad enough to buy it.
Pokemon is 10 gig, Persona's 12.5, so they could put an extra 2.5 gigs worth of Pokemon in if they wanted to. To say there's no room is
because they've
factored
in the DLC. That's what I'm saying.
What do you mean they've factored in the DLC?
Because they need.
That doesn't go on the cartridge.
The games don't go over that one cartridge size because they released the game with the DLC in next, so they have to keep it all in that 16 at whatever number it is.
That's absolute madness. I don't see why they would have to. That's
a
nonsense. I don't think it is.
It is how it is.
but it doesn't make sense because Persona's a bigger game file. I imagine there's bigger game files than Persona as well. I haven't.
Oh no, there is. I promise you, there is. Like I was looking into it. Basically, you're thinking as well. That game wasn't made for the Switch. It was made by a third party for another console, and then they've had to try and make it work by moving it across, right? Whereas this is the one they're making for the console, and they've had to factor in all the updates they plan on doing, all the DLC they plan on doing, all the other bits and pieces they're doing to it. So yeah, I get what you're saying, that it comes in whatever size you said at the beginning, but it has to fit their plan, doesn't it? And that's what happens. They can't fit the other stuff on it.
NBA 2K24 Kobe Bryant edition on Switch is 61.7 gigabytes.
That was one. I knew there was a sports game that I'd seen that was too big. You have to own
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, 39 gigabytes on Switch.
Both of them need you to have the SD card in there to use it, which is mad, surely. Like, who's buying those games?
People who own Switches. Who's got a Switch and not got an SD card? That's insanity.
Kids. My kid wouldn't have one in there. I have one in mine, but children.
Why wouldn't they have an SD card?
That's depriving them of an SD card. How dare you?
Yeah. Did you have memory cards for your PlayStation when you were a kid?
Yeah, that's a bit different, isn't it? Saving your game.
Really?
It's pretty different.
It's a key
You're
element
go buy
of
all the extra
console.
stuff, are you?
I think the number of people who have a Switch and don't have an SD card would be astronomically small. It's basically a given that you go and get an SD card to expand the memory on it.
All right, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe that is quite a common thing. They always with these games stick to that one cartridge. I don't know what the first. I can't remember if it's.
This seems like a weird internal Pokemon company rule that they need to get over. It's certainly not a thing they have to stick to. It might well be a thing they're choosing to stick to.
Well, no, so part of the reason I saw was that if you. Right, I don't know if it's 15 or 16 gig. So I'm going with 16. If you go above that, you have to buy a 32 gig cartridge, and that costs more to produce. That means that the games cost more to make, and that's where it's like it's just going to be less profitable for them to do it. So they just don't do it because every decision has to be like, is it worth us doing this? Are we going to sell more games if we do this? No, we're not, because we're already breaking all the records with the games we're making, so there's no point us doing it. So they stick to that 16 gig size, so everything has to fit within that.
But that in itself is short-term thinking, because they could be like, we're breaking all of the records, we could just give people more bang for their buck. We've got
These games are massively bigger than any of the games they've ever done before.
So they can afford to have a slightly more expensive cartridge.
I don't want to pay more for it, do you?
No, you wouldn't have to. You don't pay more for... You don't pay more for The Witcher on Switch than you do for Pokemon.
Well, they don't want to make less money, though, do they? That's the point.
There you go. That is the point. They're choosing to maximise the profit rather than maximising the game experience.
But it hasn't affected the game experience because it's still
selling. It has, because they've not got it. You've just said they've not got all the Pokemon in it. They've not got the voice acting in it because of these things. So it literally is affecting the game experience.
But what I'm saying is people are still buying it in their droves. It's sold at...
But that will end at some point if they don't...
When? You've been saying this is going to be the death of this every single time. It's literally never ended.
There will come a point where people get fed up with it not moving on.
People get burnt.
Hasn't happened so far.
No, it hasn't happened so far, but that short-term thinking means it will happen. Yeah.
I don't think it will. I disagree.
Well, hopefully we never have to find out, because hopefully at some point they'll move with the times a little bit and keep things going. Because if they don't, it will happen, because it's happened to everything else ever. If you don't move on, eventually people lose interest and the people move on. What were we even talking about?
I don't even know. We went on a massive tangent there, didn't we?
This is what happens when Anna's not here to tell us to stop squabbling. Anna's not there to start feeling uncomfortable, so we just keep going.
Yeah, she'd have told me off for calling... I can't remember if I was calling you, the listener, or people on the internet an idiot then. I called someone an idiot, but she wouldn't have let me get away with that. We need Anna.
What have you played this week? Please tell me it's Pokemon so we can talk about it more.
No.
Is the reason you didn't play it because they're lazy? They haven't bothered to put voice acting.
No, there's no voice acting, and you can't download that, so it's not a thing. No, what I have played is... Well, last week I said if you were gonna go and play games that came out this year, I need to go back and play Alan Wake. I didn't do that.
You coward.
I will try and do it this week. I'm going to try and do it this week to actually have an opinion on it. But instead I went and played Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which did come out this year, so that counts. It came out when I was building my new PC and what have you, and I had all the troubles with that. So that's why it just kind of like passed me by. But I heard someone talking about how... Someone was talking about how it reminded them... People like say it's kind of like Star Wars Dark Souls, and a little bit it is. It is a little tiny bit. It takes some things from Dark Souls gameplay. But then somebody said that it reminded them more of an Uncharted game. And the more I thought about it, the more I kind of agreed with him. And I was like, that is a different way of thinking about it. And it made me then go...
I was going to say, because Anna really enjoyed this, so the Dark Souls comparison doesn't make any sense.
It's only
Uncharted, definitely.
Literally, it's the way... Basically, there are bonfires or checkpoints, as it were, and when you rest them, the enemies respawn. That is very much a Dark Souls thing. So... That was what more of the first game, Jedi Fallen Order was the first one. It felt more like that in the first one, but this one, it is. I put the down to the easiest difficulty, so I'm pretty much just blasting through all the enemies and what have you, and then I get back to my climbing around, scurrying across things. It's just a really cool, kind of like a 3D platformer where I'm just running about. There's some nifty story going on. I think I've played 10 hours this week. Which is kind of bonkers, really. I played way too late one night. I didn't realise what time it was. I looked, I was like, oh god, I better go to bed. I really like this game. This game is probably climbing my list for this year. Like I said, I think I'm on the third or fourth planet now at this point, I want to say. And yeah, it's a cool story. There's a lot that I was initially just going to mainline it, and I am trying to mainline it to a certain extent, but there's so much stuff to do in this game. The planets that you get to, it just sprawls. There's just tons of stuff on them, all while being... It's not just like a massive open world. It's kind of like a set area, and there's like little offshoots all over the place to go. And in these offshoots, there are unlockables everywhere. And some of them are unlockables which are useful, as in like you get more health, regen, you get more force powers. But then some of them, you can get a moustache for your character, and now he has like a big handlebar moustache instead. And the customization, you can customize the hair, the facial hair, the tops, pants, the BD1, your droid. There's 3 different parts you can apply to him. So there's tons and tons and tons of collectibles. The lightsabers, all customizable, like 3 different parts, and then the colors. It's insane the amount of customizing you can do to this game, all while being within, for me, a pretty story-heavy game, like an Uncharted is. Like a lot of story, bit of combat, and then back to scurrying up and down cliff sides and up railings and all sorts of different things, all within Star Wars universe. Wow, I just realised we've done a Star Trek and Star Wars this episode. That's bonkers.
Yeah, it's hideous. And Starfield. This is my worst.
And I didn't even think about that. We've all played something Star related. That's crazy. Wow. So yeah, like I say, I've played about 10 hours of that. I'm going to play some more of that over the weekend and into next week. I will play some... I'm going to force myself to get to a certain point in Alan Wake, and if it's still not grabbed me by that... Because everyone says you need to get to the We Sing moment in Alan Wake, and if you're not hooked by that, then he's not going to. So I'm going to try and get to that point. And the other thing I've put considerable time in is, again, I probably put between 6 and 8 hours into Lego Fortnite, which is basically Minecraft. Yeah, Lego Fortnite. Jesus, I keep forgetting it is. It is very much you start off, you set up a little town that you want to set up, and you start building your town. You build an outhouse, you put some beds in it, you got somewhere to sleep, you build a workbench, you build a campfire, you build a town square, you build all these things, and then people start coming to your town and they go, oh, what's going on here then? And you basically build your town up enough to get people to want to stay, and then you can send them on jobs to do your bidding and collecting things and doing other bits and pieces. And yeah, I just had it is very much, it's like Minecraft. It's not Stardew. Not really, but there is, you can plant crops. I suppose you can plant crops in Minecraft, can't you? You can have farms in Minecraft.
Basically all I do, make farms.
Yeah, well, you can do that. There's caves that you go into. Caves. Basically, just like your standard progression. You want to upgrade your village. Your village needs this much of this item. That item is in the caves. You then need to go into the caves to get that stuff. You then need to get that stuff. You then need a certain type of weapon. So you upgrade the bench to then be able to craft that type of weapon. But it's like it's like chicken and egg. You need this to make this, but this needs that to be able to upgrade that in this workstation, and so on and so on and so forth. And then each time you upgrade the village, there are more items to build, and more structures to build. There are more houses, more types of buildings to build. And the more you build, the more people will come and stay in your village, and then you have to build them a bed and a little house, and they'll come and stay and they'll do work for you. And what it does is, it's not like, I suppose it is on a server, I suppose, but you can issue keys to your world, and then, so say we all had a key to my world, you could then go off, Kev, and go and do your own thing while I'm not on. You've got access to that world then, and then when you come back onto mine, it'll sync up back up to mine, and then your stuff will come into my world, and vice versa. So we could all just go off and play sync solely without being online, and then just come back together at a certain point, and it'll just resync back up. So it's just nifty. That's a cool thing that was good. The what else was there in the game? I spent an evening just scouting around, looking for enemies and clearing stuff up, and because at a certain point you get to the point where it's like you need to level up your town, and to do that you need certain materials, and those materials aren't in your biome anymore. So I've seen a snow biome, I've seen a desert biome, and yeah, it's very much one of them things. I don't know if there's enough there. I don't know how much there is past doing what you're doing to say it would grab you enough, Kev, to say this is the new Minecraft sort of thing. It might grab you for a little bit, but at a certain point, I feel like it would slow down to the point where there's not enough for you to do. There's not really stuff like I don't think there's traders right now, or there's
if I can't imprison villagers, then there's no point.
I had a feeling you wouldn't like that.
Really.
I mean,
I just want a bunch of prisoners.
Minecraft's been around for gone a decade now. They have made massive improvements. This is just the beginning. This is kind of like Minecraft 1.0 sort of thing. If you're trying to remember how basic, and
presumably this is Epic getting the Lego license for a period of time. Have they got it long enough for it to stick around for a long time, or is it...
I imagine it's in perpetuity, but I don't know. I don't want it to be... If I'm going to give it a try, I need to know it's not something they're just going to do for 6 months and then never touch again. It needs to be... I mean, it might be worth a look. It might be worth a look. It's free. It's on everything. It's cross-play. So you could play on your Switch. And
does it fit on a Switch cartridge?
Yes, but there's no voice acting. Yeah, it's all in there. It's all the stuff is in there. It should... But like I say, it does feel a little bare bones in place. It's nifty. Like I say, I played with 6 people, and people were just one person was just kind of being the organizer at home base. Me and another
the DIY store.
Yes, me and another person.
You didn't tell me that. You should have said Lego Fortnite featuring home base, and then I'd be in.
We built a home base. the two of us went off exploring, looking in caves and going into different biomes, looking for new stuff. And other people were just like building out the town, like they just building out, building new buildings, and it builds like a like Lego. How Lego builds. This sounds stupid, but you get a Lego set, and you put it out, and it comes up going, step 1, here's this, do this, 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 and this. It does that in the game in a certain sense of like, you get the blueprint, and you put it down on the floor, and it goes, right, the base, you need this and this and this, and it's like step 1, put this down, put this down, put this down. And it goes step 2, now put the beams in. Step 3, put the roof on. Step 4, put this in, and it goes through stages kind of like a Lego built, like you would build a Lego set. I thought that was quite cool. What else have I played I have done as well. I've played Fortnite Festival. I was gonna try and do some of the rocket racing that's in there. I just haven't got around to it. But Fortnite Festival is very much Fortnite is very much Rock Band without the instruments. I played about an hour.
Interesting.
I played an hour. I don't know how the songs work because I've played the same songs over and over again for about an hour. I played the same 5 songs for about an hour.
Real songs?
Yeah.
Or...
it was Lady Gaga, Billie Eilish.
So very much Pab's kind of music.
The Weeknd and White Stripes, was it? Maybe. There was 5 songs on it, and they just rotate the songs every day. I don't know if they rotate I don't know if there's like a set number of free songs that you play because there are songs in the store. Now, some of the songs in the store were songs that I had played, and I was like, I don't understand how this works. I didn't look much further into it. I'm a bit confused as to how it works. I'm waiting to go back in again and see if the songs that I played are still there to play. But yeah, it does come up with the music track comes on the screen, and then you just play. It's not the full song. I don't feel like it's the full song. I might be wrong, but in certain points of it, you just kind of goes over to your character because you obviously you're in Fortnite still, so your Fortnite character is on the stage, and then you can just start emoting. Like you could dance in Fortnite like you used to. You can start doing your emotes.
You almost convinced me to try this, and then you ruined it there.
Yeah, I mean, there's just segments where there's no notes going. Sometimes in rock band, there's like a gap in the notes where it just doesn't do anything, where there's nothing to play, where it just kind of gives you a rest. It then pans over to your character and you can dance. It just kind of fills the gap, I suppose.
I'm just having a look. There's 34 songs apparently on it at the moment.
Really?
5 of them are Epic Games songs, 4 of them are The Weeknd, and then there's a mixture that looks like it's all been taken out of SingStar and Rock Band. There's also a guitar peripheral coming out next month, apparently.
Next month, like I said, I do know that they said that they want to do that.
I didn't know this was a thing, but I am intrigued.
Yeah, they've kind of gone. I've been listening, but I didn't want to interrupt. But they've kind of gone mad, haven't they? Fortnite they've got their shooter, their Minecraft, their Rock Band, their Rocket League. Was it the other game?
The Rocket Racing. It's kind of like kart racing.
Yeah, sorry,
Rocket League stuff. Yeah,
I knew it was Rocket something, but it's more like Mario Kart. I was trying to explain this to Ollie because he was like, "Why are they doing this?" I was like, "Because they're obviously trying to expand it into one like everything game, aren't they? You got your racer, your shooter,
like Roblox."
Yeah, right. We had that conversation because I was telling him I've had this ongoing thing with Ollie where I've said if I was wealthy enough, I would probably buy Roblox and just shut it down, just delete it. And he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Because I just think it's terrible and everyone can do better." And he always used to be. I'm saying that in jest to kind of half wind him up, but we were discussing how this is basically a much more polished, much more effort involved. Someone's invested in it. They actually care about it being good. And I think even he can see the difference. He's like, yeah, okay, you're right. Because Roblox is trash. Like, honestly.
Well, Roblox is, most of it is like user created. That's also why this is.
Oh, that's another thing. It's very exploitative. Yeah, just drop a magnet on it, get rid of it, and let Fortnite fill the gap. Roblox is awful.
So yeah, somebody I was playing with said they downloaded just Lego Fortnite because there's just in the Epic Store now you can just Lego Fortnite is a thing you can just click on because I play Fortnite regularly, it's just a mode in Fortnite for me. It's just like a different mode. I don't know how that works. So if you only wanted to play Lego Fortnite, potentially you could only download the Lego Fortnite bit. I don't know how it works. But I don't know. It might be a thing. It might not. But if you wanted to play Fortnite Festival, I think there's, like I said, each mode seems like it's separated.
I'm more likely to try that than anything else because I do miss the Rock Band days. I used to love Rock Band.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's early days for it. It's early days for it, and it looks like this is the thing going forward because, like I said, they own Harmonix now, who made Rock Band. And this is probably likely to be what they do. And if it isn't successful, then I don't know what they're going to do. But this is them going forward. So I imagine, and they've got Epic money now, so they can license music, indefinitely. I'd assume. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure. And I'll probably go back to it again and see what songs are free right now. As in, because I don't understand what the story's for. If you can buy songs. Why would I buy songs if they're free to play? Because there's different modes in this whole thing.
I know the most recent Guitar Hero from however many years ago had like a playlist mode where it was basically streamed. Like a radio station. It was streamed. You couldn't choose what you were playing, but you could then pay to download the songs and have them on demand. So it could be a setup like that where you've got the playlist that you just have to do as you're told and play the songs they tell you to play. But if you want to buy the songs separately, you can. Yeah,
that sounds like it makes sense. But like I say, I ran around in this world, and I was like, I don't know where to go. And then you go up to the thing that goes, pick your playlist, pick your tracks for the playlist, and you can put 5 songs into a playlist, and you can just pick them from the list. And then, like I say, because I was trying to do quests, I was trying to do missions for the battle pass, because also the battle pass counts.
Because you're a nerd.
Yeah, because if you got the battle pass, everything goes towards the battle pass. So I was earning levels, so I just played the same songs over and over and over again because I just kept playing it because they were the ones that I knew. It also set me on hard immediately, and I was annoyed. I was thinking, I'm absolutely crap at this. And then I realised that what it was, it had set me to hard. And I just was like, okay, let's change it back. Let's change it down, and then it was considerably easier when I turned it down to easy. I don't know how it works. I need to look into it again. Like I say, I've only played about an hour of it, but it seemed all right for what it was. I just enjoyed just listening to the music and kind of playing Rock Band again. I imagine it probably plays actually better because I'm playing mouse and keyboard, so I had it on like 4 different keys doing all the different tracks. It probably works better on a controller, so it plays more like Rock Band. What's the console one that you didn't have a Rock Band Blitz?
Yeah,
was that it?
God. I'd forgotten that existed, but yes, that is what it was.
Yes,
that was great. I
imagine it probably
that I played that for.
I imagine it probably plays more like that.
What's it called? Clone Hero that someone brought out. I don't know. To be fair, that's probably
that's an old thing, though, isn't it?
Well, it's got quite a big scene though, hasn't it? Someone I knew was talking about it earlier in the year, and how you can, if you've got all the old kit, you can like make them Bluetooth compatible and basically make your own enormous library of Guitar Hero, and it's one of those things where it didn't sound that complicated, but I was surprised Kev hadn't already built it in his house.
It's a thing, but it's also user-made levels, and everything is user. So people rip the tracks from wherever illegally, and then people make the levels for it, sort of thing. So. They're not as well curated. They're not as well curated for the to play like they are by Harmonix or whoever makes them.
I hope that era returns, though. I feel like
no, it won't return.
I don't know.
No one want the shops don't want all the amount of plastic in the stores anymore. They don't want tons of plastic instruments everywhere that they can't sell. That's the reason it came back a few years ago, and it fell on its ass because nobody bought it. And
I did.
I did as well, but nobody bought it. And
I suppose they might need to come up with a solution that isn't quite as I don't know what that would be, but there's got to be a way.
I just want a drum kit in my house again.
Yeah,
I've still got one.
The 1 or 2 times we did it.
I've still got one. I'm looking at it now.
It's still set up.
No, it's in pieces on top of my wardrobe. I can see it sticking out. I can see the cymbals sticking out the top of the box.
I was drumming on it earlier.
But yeah, that is it from me.
Well, we will wrap things up there then, boys and girls. Make sure you all spend the next week bombarding Sheepdog with reasons why Spider-Man 2 shouldn't be Game of the Year. See if we can convince him to not shortlist it. That is the episode that's coming up next week. You can contact us via the internet at Mgukpodcast, or you can follow me at Lelujo.
You can also find me at RB6K, where you can also tell me why I'm wrong about the Pokemon size file stuff. And if anyone wants to just send me Baldur's Gate over Twitter, I'll play it and then I'll vote for that.
All right, I'll send it to you then. Sorted.
That's what I was saying. Get it done.
Yeah. Am I buying you both a copy of Baldur's Gate right now just to make sure it wins Game of the Year?
It's Christmas.
I'm forcing it through.
And I'm at Pab1986, and what you can do also is probably send Sheepdog an angry message on the voicemail thing that is apparently a thing.
Oh, yes. Voicemail through Spotify. Get on it. Tell him why he's wrong. Let us know. You could just tell us what your Game of the Year is using that feature. And if we get enough of them, we'll probably ignore them. But you never know. We might break the habit of a lifetime. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening, folks.